Entire village underwater.
Oh, I I had no idea. I'm so sorry to hear that.
How would you have any idea? Because floods have scarcely made a news here. Everything is about New York Knicks. These pictures, they stay in my mind, and I'm having difficulty to sleep.
So when you do manage to sleep, are you having any more of these disturbing dreams?
I keep seeing the same image. You know, a boy, perhaps 3 or 4. He's clinging to an automobile tire, and his head barely above water, and his eyes, they are pleading.
This is in the dream.
No, this is real. It was on the news, BBC News. I wanted to pass through the television and rescue that poor child. People are traveling from other areas to help, and I'm trapped in Brooklyn. Useless, locked away, like a prisoner.
So is that what you feel like? Like a prisoner in your son's home?
My son is gone. He's been gone for 3 days, attending a medical conference in St. Louis. I feel like I'm outside of my life. I feel like a stranger.
A prisoner? A stranger?
I cannot stop myself from watching. I cannot change how I feel.
I just wonder if there aren't other things that you might be able to change.
Other things meaning what?
Look, Sunil, things can't go on as they are. What about the possibility of your moving from your son's home? I know you can't go back to Calcutta, you told me that, but finding someplace else to live.
And where? Please tell me, would that be?
Your own apartment?
Okay. And who would pay for this?
You could get a job.
Like selling printer cartridge at Best Buy, or standing behind a kebab wagon. I cannot do that, Paul. I will not.
I'm not suggesting that you...
But you're just wasting your time, Paul. See, I'm as helpless to change my surrounding as those people in my country who are unable to save their houses from floodwaters.
I think that you have to talk with your son. No, just hear me out on this. You're not happy where you are, and it's pretty obvious that having you in their home hasn't been easy for them either. Yet you've never spoken to your son about this. You've never expressed to him directly what you feel or what it is exactly that you want. Look, Sunil, I have kids myself. I know what this is like to sometimes want to put off difficult discussions.
But you don't know my son, Paul. You have no idea. I'm telling you with certainty, there's nothing to be gained. Absolutely nothing.
You're so convinced that he's not going to help you. How can you know that for sure?
Because I have already spoken to him. The night before he left, I was thinking of you, Paul. How you encouraged me to express myself. So I told him the truth. I told him that seeing the images made me certain, and I need to return. I'm here. I'm useless. I'm only in the way here. So let me go.
And what did he say to that?
He told me that he would never let me go back to Calcutta. He had made a promise, and he could never betray his mother. He also told me that, why do you want to make a fool of yourself? What will you do back in India in all that water? Jobless. Then he said, Julia will send a check to Red Cross in your name, and that they would buy me a queen-size mattress from Macy departmental store. Later that night, I overheard them talking in the kitchen. Julia was saying, oh, if he wants to go, let him go. And she said she was not comfortable staying with me alone in the house.
And what did Arun say to that?
He told Julia that she was being dramatic and ridiculous, and that he felt better having a man there to protect her and the children while he was away. Then Julia called me unstable. I held a position of mathematics professor for 28 years. I was married to Kamala for 30 years. Is this a profile of someone who's unstable? If anything, she's unstable, Julia. She has been behaving like a mad person. Mad person since Arun went away.
How do you mean she's behaving like a mad person? What is she doing?
She's continuing her adventures with Mr. Ethan Barr, the Pale Fox. On Saturday night, they went out, leaving Naya with an upset stomach.
And you were watching the children?
No, I'm not allowed. She would not allow that. Liza, the nanny, she stayed late.
Uh-huh.
He actually came up to the door to pick her up.
So you met him?
Yeah, he's not quite as handsome as he appears on the jacket cover.
And did you speak to him? Did he?
We shook hands. He's young, more modest than I thought. I congratulated him on his success. Then he said something which surprised me. He said that I have heard quite a lot about you. When they walked down the steps, they looked back at me and they laughed.
You thought they were laughing at you?
Please, Paul, you must trust me. If you had seen of yourself, you could not doubt me this time. Not this time. My son said he wanted me there to protect her, but I felt quite the opposite. I wanted to smother her laughing.
Let me get this right. To smother the sound of her laughter, or to smother her?
No, they were laughing at me, Paul.
I understand.
No, you don't understand. They were humiliating me. See, now look at your face. I have alarmed you now.
Yes, actually, because the words that you're using are...
I'm trying to share with you how their laughter disturbed me. I'm trying to express myself, as you say. You understand this, yes?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Good, because it only grew worse. At 1 o'clock, I heard talking in front of the building. My window faces the street. I saw Julia and Ethan Barr. He escorted her up the steps and then kissed her goodnight. What do you make of this?
Well, it depends what kind of a kiss it was.
A kiss is a kiss. Don't you think I know what kiss looks like?
Well, was it on the lips?
No, it was on the cheek.
Well, that's not really an uncommon thing for people in America to do when they're saying goodbye.
I know. You will think what you want to think. Anyway, after he kissed her, Julia carefully lifted her hand to a spot below his eye and then gently drew the back of her curled fingers down his cheek. Julia never touches my son's face in this manner. How much proof do you need, Paul? Last week I brought you solid evidence, her birth control pills, and you still want more. Is this not enough?
Not necessarily.
It's not acceptable, Paul. She's disgracing my family. After I witnessed the case, I could not move from the window. I could hear her down on the second floor preparing her bed, and I thought I heard her lock her bedroom door. She did not even come upstairs to check on Naya. And then I wanted to go to sleep, but I could not stop myself thinking of Julia. Lying on her bed, who she was thinking of. I think all would be better if she ran off with Mr. Pale Fox, or she simply disappears.
Disappears? What do you mean by that? Disappears? I have to say that some of the words that you've used today, Sunil, I really want to understand what it is that you are trying to say to me. if your feelings are as extreme as I'm hearing them to be.
You asked me whether I had more disturbing dreams. I have had one again.
The same one?
No, a different one. It was quite troubling.
Do you want to tell me about it?
Yeah. Perhaps it will help you to make sense of my feelings, you know.
I hope so.
I saw my son, Arun, lying on the street in front of the house, and he was unconscious. The children were inside, looking out the window. They were afraid. Beyond the street, there was a forest of thick black trees. And a woman with a long dark hair came walking out of the forest. She wore a long white gown, bright as a moon. And I was standing over my son. And as the woman started walking towards the house, I was trying to hold my son's arm. And I pulled it, and it broke cleanly off, like a piece of old plaster. So I was thinking that I should use this arm to protect the children.
To protect the children from this woman?
Now, the arm was quite heavy, dense. I could hurt this woman very much, and I woke up as I was about to strike her.
So you were going to strike this woman to protect your grandchildren?
I'm quite confused by this woman. Who do you think she could be?
Well, sometimes it's not so much the physical similarity as the feeling.
Do you think it could be Julia? No, she had dark hair. It was dark black as onyx. And Julia's hair is yellow. So perhaps it was Julia in disguise.
Is that how you see Julia? In disguise? Do you see her as a threat?
No, she has a secret life. The woman was most definitely not Kamala.
And what makes you so sure of that?
No, because I would never think of harming my wife.
Do you feel that you could harm Julia?
The thing I found strange was that I could not make out the details of woman's face. Even when she drew very close, you know, I started to grip my son's arm with great force. I could feel the blood pulsing into my hands. And she was so close that I could almost smell the flower she wore in her hair. But I could not see her face.
The flower in her hair, like in the El Greco painting.
Sorry?
That's the painting you mentioned when you first spoke of Malini. See, the image of you removing your son's arm, well, sometimes there's something primal or animalistic that the dreams allow us to express, that our conscious mind is...
আমি পশু না, আমি পশু না, এটা স্বপ্ন ছিল, ওটা জীবন না। A man can only be pushed so far. I have decided it was not Malini in my dream, and it upsets me very much for you to suggest this. I would never, ever think of harming Malini.
Why would you think I would assume you'd hurt Malini? Okay, we don't have to talk about that now.
তোমার কোনো ধারণা নেই আমার জীবন কেমন ছিল।
I don't understand what you're saying.
You have no idea what my life has been.